Did you actually coach basketball in those shoes?
I put tennis shoes on.
Okay.
I mean, I was for a little bit and I was like, I'm gonna put my tennis shoes on.
To say, that's gotta be really hard to be moving around.
I like wearing them though, cause then I'm like Sophia
cute.
tight, and I'm like, bring it on, let's go girls.
Yeah.
I was oogling them a little bit, just saying.
I actually coach basketball in those shoes.
Like, wait, and then.
I just had to go back in.
Okay.
And I just want to go. Well, then, like, I don't my shirt or something.
Maybe not.
Dollars
Oh.
and then I don't.
$1.99.
So it's maybe it's tough.
Yeah. I'm gonna have it. I haven't had time to look up from last week.
Well, when I asked about that, John, what do you got? It's considered a minimal qualification, because I asked about the reason she's only minimally qualified, she's really bad and stuff.
Yes.
Hello?
And I'm they
Just got my meeting.
2 weeks.
Oh.
That's why I say that.
What's up?
Well, and then.
They gave me a
year, fictional. And then.
Yeah, you're not
Like,
leaving
like, I had to go to Wisconsin teaching in order to fulfill Wisconsin.
because you came from it, so of course you had to.
So I got my Wisconsin teaching license. Whatever.
Right.
Original or something.
No, I need me, you know, but I have,
I didn't know.
I need to get this. Need to get bonds.
To put all of your.
You scan home?
Well, like the same.
Okay. Right, I'm gonna go.
So that they all would.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Even when I.
Yes.
So I guess when I, by after 3 years, I was able. Oh, like, I think. When I've been licensed, but you had 6 of so then I just had to. Take.
I just didn't know it was a things where.
It was, yeah, it's just an error, whatever, like that, I had open mic, I think I could, should be able to, I don't know, I mean, I have. Biology and.
Is that a little bit better, Carrie? Helps when you know, like unmute.
Yeah, never mind, there was words there. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
It was when I first looked at Tom's, he had all this written stuff and I didn't. You guys can stop and stand on the road. Excuse me. Oops. Did you all last it?
Hey, it's Sparkle and Shine Day. Cute. You should see my elf dress for Thursday. Do you know why this is listed there, but no place else?
No.
Because I don't have HRA or HSA through the school accounts.
So that was.
Okay,
Cause I used the previous one.
I've got it. Okay, and then I'm just wondering, why did differences are so good?
That's how far away it is because we. Oh.
And she's still paying a percentage. Perfect. Nope, nope, it flips up though.
Yeah.
Because they have told things.
So you can just make that.
Like clatter in a dumpster.
They fit the dumpster better than.
Yeah. All the broken ones. Hopefully they were under warranty and being replaced. As quickly as they're breaking.
Oh, from your side. One more. Yeah, I'm going. Like actually. It's spinning around. Just a feeling of something.
All right. It is 5:10 and I'm calling the special board meeting involving budget working meeting for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 to order. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
We have a motion by Katie, seconded by Polly. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, on to the new business. Discussing budget saving ideas and possible scenarios for the budget. I see here that there's some stuff in regards to a referendum. possibilities. So I guess we'll start with that and go from there.
Yeah, I figured I'd start with that because based on the budget model, Laura and I were working with Debbie and she was going through the model with Marquez and that, and I think you guys may have seen, we originally had numbers up there and that, and we were kind of guessing on some of those until after the forecast came through. So what you have in front of you, I'm sure you've had an opportunity to look at this. In working with Debbie, we came up with 3 scenarios. Now, look, the thing is a working meeting. No decisions have to be made. These are just scenarios, hypotheticals we're talking about. And basically, all referendum decisions, my feeling is they should be made by January 22nd. The reason I say that is because we have to have the bond council information to them by the 27th. But we need a little bit of lead time to get that done, to get to bond council by the 27th. So these are just scenarios and we're starting with these. So you can see we did 1 million, 1.4 million, and 1.8 million. And then as we've done in the past, when we have presentations to the public, we try to put the tax impact down through here and we can do other scenarios, but I think Debbie just chose the $100,000, $200,000, and $300,000 increments. I think that's probably what we've done in the past, but we tried to break it down then annually with each amount and then yearly, so you can see how that plays at 1 million for $100,000 property is $35 annually, $292 a month. 1.4, you can follow the pattern across. So it's pretty self-explanatory there. And these are the kind of things we use when we present to the public. Now on the next page, what I did, we talked about this because there was a list of cuts and some things that the board had suggested. And when Laura started working through that, we just weren't sure what cuts could actually be done or made. So we followed her cuts in the meantime and used that as one scenario. But we also, I told Debbie that we should maybe just put one together without the cuts to give you a reference point of where that is. So that's why one was with reductions and one was without.
Do you know roughly what the reduction amount was?
We'll talk about some of that, I think, in closed session because it requires some staffing in that.
Right.
And I think Laura's got some scenarios there.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where we went with the cuts and no cuts. And as we move along here, we'll get more secure about the cuts and that, so we'll know. But right now it's just a baseline of the current reduction she has and none. Okay, so that's how that played out and that's why that is like that. And then, this was all recommended by Debbie in terms of, the surplus deficit fund balance and where it's going. And then the next one, which we were just happened to be talking, about other districts and that have been going to referendum. And so she sent this to us, based on our conference and some of the referendums. Interestingly enough, if you look at Birchwood there, they're a smaller school than we are, and they passed the $2.6 million referendum recurring. That was several years ago, and I remember the superintendent talking at the time saying, we were either going to shut down or we were going to go with that. And then you can see, where Turtle Lake, Bruce, Prentice, you can see they're all hovering around, I'm not sure the exact amounts, but around 1 million. And then, Frederick just recently did theirs. And I think Fredericksville, it looks a little different on DPI's website versus what they were promoting. So I'm not sure what that is, but they had a substantial amount too. And I don't remember the length, the duration on theirs as well. Ours we're proposing 3 years, but obviously the board has decisions to make on all that. And then she did a 25-26 mill rate comparison to the conference. Also, Clayton's not listed above, but Clayton is smaller than us too. And they did like a 1.5 or a 1.9 or something $1 million referendum. And I think theirs was recurring too.
Wasn't there another one, like we need to close if we don't get this?
Clayton, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know what the circumstances were around that at the time. I just happened to be talking to the superintendent last Friday and said they did a 1 point something $1 million referendum in that. So I can't remember if it was 1.5 or 1.9, but it was higher than what I would have expected, I guess. And So that'll walk you through the mill rates here and put you there. But then these are just the dates, you know, on the spring. And then, if there's a primary, well, typically we don't do a primary for the referendum. So basically, we're talking with Debbie, you know, we might have two opportunities. If the spring referendum were to fail, then we can come back in November. And go with that. So that's primarily the referendum scenarios, and we can do any type of scenarios that you guys want to walk through. But this was just a starting point for you, and you know, an open session, that's one thing to share. But I think some of the cuts and things, I think we want to talk a little bit about that in close, because if we have teachers watching, if their names are mentioned and without making decisions, I didn't wanna.
Yeah.
You know, alarm them or anything before we had an opportunity to really make decisions on that. So-
On page 2, it's still showing like the surplus deficit. They all go down over the 3 years. So are we saying by that 3-year mark, we're almost guaranteeing that the operating referendum would have to be redone? Or are we getting to a point somewhere in here where our fund balance is gonna be able to keep us afloat for some period of time?
My feeling is after the 3 year, we may have to consider another referendum, but I don't know, depending on the cuts. That may not be the case.
Right.
Depending on what the state does.
Yeah. that's
Right.
the other-
So I like, if we just look at the 1 million with the reductions, the first year we've got 350,000 as a surplus and that goes down to 47,000. Is that just, those numbers are based off of standard inflation and everything's just getting more expensive kind of a thing? Okay.
We definitely know cuts are gonna occur. Those are just ballpark amounts based on.
Right.
We'll work through that as we go. And I mean, I thought we'd have more working meetings as we move along on this, but this was a starting point.
You're at a 3.54%.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, just with the January timeline, of the 22nd, we're gonna be running out of time faster than
Well, we're just gonna
I
have
think
to.
we realized.
Once January hits, I mean, we're gonna have to have.
Mhm.
So,
Unless we went on the fall election
Yeah,
with the question. Which is obviously cutting it close.
I mean, I will tell you though, in years past, in terms of information for referendum, this is the most specific, significant information you've ever had about making a decision about dollar amounts, because we didn't use the formula in the past.
Mhm.
and as you said, these are divided across 3 years, correct?
Yes, 3 years is what we were forecasting and. You know, I have talked to some districts and I know we've had a couple of board members in the past talk about recurring. Unfortunately, though, recurring is a great option.
Mhm.
But I think some districts get into a point where they do a recurring, but then they find out maybe that recurring wasn't enough, and then they have to come back and ask again, where the people are saying, wait a minute. We did a recurring referendum with the idea that you weren't coming back to us. And I think that's the sell.
And these dollar amounts, it's not is it $1 million every year or the million divided across 3 years? Every year. Okay.
So, be interesting to hear what some of the cut scenarios are. In close. Just so the public is aware, the board has been looking at a couple of different options and been discussing them with admin as far as feasibility for cutting, and not only that, but reorganizing, because I mean, let's face it, I don't think we just want to keep throwing money at things and go, that's all it takes to make it better. Because we can do so much more than just keep filling the holes in the ship with band-aids of cash. So we've talked about stuff in regards to dropping the elementary down to 1 class per grade. We've also mentioned some reorganizing with the middle school and the high school as far as how teachers would work through there. We're also looking at different things like benefits and other positions within the district, if they can be combined or not. As well as admin roles and whatnot. So there is a lot that we're looking at, and hopefully we have some good solutions that we're going to be working towards. Because as I say, I hate to just think we're just going to keep trying to plug along with status quo and use cash to do it. So that being said, if no one has anything else for the open part of the meeting,
Make a motion to go into close.
Second.
we have a motion by Katie, seconded by Corey to go into closed session. During this portion of the closed session, we'll be doing the board budget working meeting as well, but it will be reflecting on issues of personal and promotion, which falls under C and F and G, and therefore that's why it's being done and closed. Any discussion in regards to that? Corey, take the roll.
Polly,
Yes.
Corey, yes, Katie?
Yeah.
Tom,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yep.
Amy,
Yes.